Hello and welcome to the Golf Course Lawn Show. My name is Ron Henry and I'm here to help answer your lawn care questions. Now, if it's the first time you're joining us, welcome. Super happy to have you here. The way this works is really simple. On your screen somewhere, you'll see a chat box. And in that chat box, you enter your question, concern, comment of the day, and I work through them in the order they come in. Now, sometimes I have the answers. Believe it or not, sometimes I do not. But either way, we have an awesome time talking about lawn care and sometimes life. Well, guys, it is May 15th. We're halfway through the month. Kind of crazy. And, you know, it's been an interesting, interesting past 15 days, both on the golf course lawn side, both on my side, but also for a lot of you guys as well, too. Like today, I've got so many updates as far as like lawn living projects I'll be able to share with you guys, which is really cool. Some of the people that were having some issues with their lawn last week took some of the advice and we're seeing some improvement. So overall should be a good show tonight. As always, we're coming to you guys live on YouTube as the primary platform, but you can also watch the show on Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, whatever really works well for you. If you're on Instagram, you're really only gonna get to see the first hour of the stream and then it will disconnect. So if you are enjoying it on Instagram and you wanna come over, just realize that you only get the first hour there and then everywhere else it'll be kind of going until we are done. All right. Okay, let's get into it. Let's see what we have going this evening. First of all, we got Mr. Lawn Lover saying, I have a few patches of Dallisgrass in my Bermuda lawn in Dahula, Georgia. Does certainty and Celsius work? If yes, what rate for spot treatment? Should I do a blanket or spot treatment? Thank you so much. Yeah, so Dallisgrass, huge pain. Unfortunately, no, Celsius and certainty are not going to control that. Your best bet, honestly, with Dallisgrass on a residential lawn is just to dig it out. I mean, you can spot spray with glyphosate, but then you're risking the chance of injuring the surrounding turf grass. So your best bet is really to remove it. You know, it's funny you mentioned and you ask about Dallisgrass, lawn lover, because today, believe it or not, I think I can show you this. Yep. So if you were to go to the golf course lawn store and then go to our blog, you go to resources and blog, the one we released today is about some of the worst weeds in your lawn, some of the very worst lawn weeds. And of course, Dallisgrass must get a mention. And as the guidance kind of points out, your best bet is to, you know, physically remove it, dig it out, or use spot treatments with some kind of glyphosate product like Roundup Quick Pro. In addition, you can work to really grow a really thick and healthy lawn. That's going to make it more difficult for Dallisgrass to establish. But if it's already there, your best bet in a residential lawn, if you're not willing to tolerate some damage or injury to your desirable grass, is just to physically remove it. So the product that used to be, it still is, but the product that is effective for Dallisgrass, from a selective control standpoint, is no longer labeled for use on residential lawns. So really, your best bet is just to physically remove it. So I don't have a better answer for you. Celsius uncertainty will not control it. I mean, if you're fortunate, I mean, might like you discolor it a little bit, but as far as like controlling it, no, not going to happen. All right. Okay, next up we got Mr. Scott Smith in the live stream. He says, go hit that like button. Thank you so much, Scott. I really do appreciate it. Thanks for all the love and support. Scott saying good evening, everybody. What's going on, Scott? Yeah, man. Thanks for leading the charge. Next up, we have some pictures from Mr. Michael Coulthard. No relation. He says, hey, Ron, happy Friday. Big Mike Hill started top dressing. More in email. Exercise is almost cathartic. Having to do it all by hand. Have a question regarding possible biochar pick. Remove it. Okay, yeah, so I got some of your pictures here, Michael. So I think this is picture 1 of all the top dressing work. And overall, quite good. I got to tell you, that's, you know, I can appreciate the amount of work that went into getting it to that point. I like the amount of coverage that you did, or amount of material you put out. I mean, it's rare for me to say this, but you may have even been able to go a little bit heavier than you did. But the long short of it is, where you are now is fine. The lawn's going to recover really nicely. So again, very, very, really happy with what I'm seeing there. And then you had a question about like some of the biochar or the organic material that's in the product from Supersod. Oh yeah, so those little clumps, that's their soil cubed compost. That will break down. I wouldn't really worry about it. There's nothing really to be concerned about. I would not remove it. I wouldn't take that and throw it out because it's going to break down. There's really no again, it may look a little unsightly, but it's nothing bad. So no, do not take it. Do not throw it out. It is completely normal. Within, I don't know, a week or so, depending on rainfall and how much work you do as far as like you're dragging the lawn, it's gonna dissipate and go away pretty quickly. So yeah, don't throw it out. That's some of the stuff you paid for, so don't get rid of it. All right. Happy to hear that the lawn leveling went well, and again, keep us posted as far as how it develops. I can already see it though, man. I can already see it in my mind's eye that is going to come out really, really nicely. So yeah, again, great work. You didn't go too crazy heavy, and we're gonna get to keep us posted. You know, you've already started with the documentation process. We're gonna hold you to it. I mean, you just necessarily send something in every week, but you know, every couple of weeks you want to see how it's recovering. All right. Okay. Next up, we have SETI 97. He says, let's see here. He says, so I'm saving about $600. I'll be back to stripe action very soon. Turf's up, fert down, stripe action forever. That's a good thing, I guess, Cedric. I guess you have to give me some more context around what happened. Oh, here we go. Yeah, you said, Big Ron, I ordered my reel for my GM 1000. I'm also getting a new bed knife. It's a good idea when you're changing the reel, change the bed knife too. Bearings and seals. I got an amazing deal with the original Greens Master Parts. I'm going to install everything myself, and you're going to save. That's where the savings of $600 is. So you're buying the original parts, and you're going to do the work yourself. I got you. All right. Yeah, I get it. Okay, well, keep us posted as far as how it all comes out. And yeah, man, sounds like a good time. I mean, the big thing is you getting original parts is a good thing as far as, you know, for you getting ensuring that the quality of the mower and just that the longevity is going to be there, you know, because you're using good quality bearings and everything else, seals and all that jazz. So good job going with that. All right. Next up, we have David Bloomfield in the live stream. He says, so you said to put down micronutrients every 2 weeks or granular humic max and then wait 2 weeks, then micro, then wait 2 weeks, then humic max, then wait 2 more weeks, and micro again. That's once a month. Okay, so so I'll break it down for you again, David, as far as how you do it. The granular fertilizer you apply once every 4 weeks. So an easy way to do that is the beginning of the month. You apply a granular fertilizer. You're using humic max 1608. So beginning of May is already gone, but say let's just fast forward to say early June. Beginning of June, you would apply humic max 1608. On the same day, if you so desire, you could also spray your liquids. So the carbon kit, micronutrient if you want to, plant growth regulator if you want to, all that can be sprayed on the same day. So granular first, and then on the same day, if you wanted to, you could then follow up with your foliar sprays. 15 days later, 2 weeks later, you will do only a foliar spray. So you'll do liquids. Again, you'll spray liquids every couple of weeks, and the granular you'll apply once per month. So that's probably the best way of thinking about it. As far as application schedule, one product is on a once per month, I guess you'd say cycle. So at the beginning of every month is when you would do it. And then the plant growth regulator, and foliar sprays are every 2 weeks. So it may not necessarily always lined up where the foliar sprays happen on the same weekend or the same time as when you're doing the granular. Because really the idea with, especially if you're doing plant growth regulator, it's important that you're consistent with how often you're putting the product out. So just think of it this way: every 2 weeks, liquid sprays. Every once a month is your granular application. All right. And if you start at the beginning of June as like you're just resetting and you're going to start from then, you could do again granular in the morning. A couple hours later, once the granular's out, you could spray your liquids. The following day, water the granular product in, and then 2 weeks from that point going forward, every 2 weeks you spray liquids. Once a month, you put out the granular. All right. All right, so hopefully that helps explain spoon feeding, or how I recommend doing it. I mean, I've had really good results with it. A lot of folks follow that and tend to get pretty good results too. So you don't overcomplicate it. Just think one thing's on a every 2 week cycle, the liquid sprays, and the granular, the first of every month is when you do it. All right, is that hard? That easy. All right, next up is Drew Douglas. He says, good evening. What's going on, Drew? I think I have some pictures from you. I think you guys have pictures. So Drew says some pictures, I believe, of his lawn. He's got Bermuda grass, I believe he said, and he's mowing it at 1/2 inch. So he wanted to show how the stripe action is coming in. And overall, quite nice, man. Nothing wrong with that. Can't hate on that. I mean, you can hate on anything, right? But I mean, there's nothing really to hate on there. It looks really good. Looks really, really nice. Good job. Good job. Next time, Drew, though, you got to give us the finger picture. Whenever we want to see the height of cut, take the finger, stick it down on the lawn, then take a picture of it with your phones. We can see, hey, wow, he's only got like that much, almost that much fingers like being submerged in the grass, right? Just kind of show off the folks, kind of flex a little bit more. But overall, looks good. Color looks great. For being mowed at that height of cut, color still looks really nice. So just keep up with it. It may become more of a challenge as we get into June and July, but right now it looks like it's retaining its color pretty well. So I just keep doing what you're doing. All right. Okay, next up, we have Mr. Juan Ayala. He says, New Jersey in the house. I'll be sending him some pictures tonight. Stay tuned. Do your best, Juan. I may or may not be able to get them on because, again, I got a lot of pictures tonight. And normally, it's really easier if I get them on before the show starts. So I've got a bunch of stuff queued up, and it's been kind of a pain to like reformat and get things on there. But if you send me a couple of pictures and they are formatted properly, I'll do my best to get them on the show. All right? Okay, next up, we have Mr. Anthony Velez, 777. He says, happy Friday, Ron. Hope all is well. Looking forward to some turf talk. I can't complain. It's been a little bit of challenging the past couple of weeks, but overall, it's been, we will keep it moving. You know what I mean? But yeah. Next, we got Nepitz, 2609, the live stream. He says, happy Friday, Ron. Hope I can get the live stream tonight. Battling burr weed like crazy here in Dallas, Fort Worth. A few apps of 2,4-D was surfacted. It seems to just hurt the plant for a bit. Yeah. You may need to try Celsius or something that's more of a combination product where there's more than one herbicide in it, and see how that goes. All right. All right. So hope that's what I might say. I mean, if you want to keep trying the 2,4-D, that's fine. But I mean, you may have to use something that's more, again, a combination of different active ingredients to get a better result. All right. Next up is Sandy Sunny D3. He says, "Hey Ron, love your channel. I've learned so much. I've been doing my own lawn care for about 3 years. I am going to have a company top dress my lawn for the first time." Okay, all right. I think I have some thatch. Yeah, so I mean, you may have some thatch. I mean, all lawns have some thatch in them, but I mean, is it the thing? Question is really, is it excessive? Once you get really past half an inch, you can start having some problems. But a little bit of thatch is not necessarily a bad thing. Having a company come out and do your top dressing, also not a bad idea. You know, not a bad thing. I mean, it's a lot of work. If you've watched any of my videos, it is it's a trial to get all that material out, especially if you have a larger property. So, you know, I get it. There's no issue with that. Just make sure whoever's doing it, and I'm sure you've already done this, ensure that they're doing the process right. They're going to go out and at least do a good aeration, you know, as part of the top dressing process. So at a minimum, they should be aerating and then putting out the material. Most places will aerate, put out some kind of fertilizer, and then they'll top dress on top of that. But at a minimum, you want to see aeration and then fertilization to you know, just for the best possible results. All right. So cool stuff. And take some pictures. Let us know how it all works out. If you need anything else, let me know. I'm glad to hear that the content's been useful and we've been able to, you know, keep you as a viewer, which is pretty cool. All right. So you asked about the thatch. You said, so you think you have some. Should I fix that first? If so, how? Yeah. So it depends on how much we're talking about. If there is a substantial buildup in thatch, what kind of grass do you have? You don't say. Okay. What I would like to, what my favorite way of reducing thatch in the lawn is verticutting, because it is a great way to thin out the lawn, to remove some thatch, and it's not as stressful as like running a dethatcher. I'm really not a fan of dethatchers, primarily the way most people use them, because they tend to be really aggressive. If you I mean, I guess you can use a dethatcher and you know, set the depth to where it's not too aggressive, but just by the nature of the way it works, it tends to be more of a tearing at the turf, instead of like cutting and gently removing material. So this company's doing this. If they can verticut it prior to, that would be good. Another alternative is, again, without knowing what kind of grass you have, it's kind of difficult to give you good advice. But if, let's say it's a Bermuda lawn, and you've mowed it, kept it at a higher height, or you've allowed just thatch to build up over the years, a good scalp, like a very aggressive scalp, is also a strategy for removing thatch. Now you're going to want to bag all the clippings, all the material when you do this. So outside of being able to find a verticutter, which is really the method that I like the best, the next would be scalping the lawn, assuming you have a warm season grass like Bermuda. And then when they go out and they top dress, they aerate and then top dress on top of that, you know, as far as recovery, the lawn should come back pretty quickly. That's a nice thing. So don't worry about going too aggressive with the scalp, especially this time of year, because, you know, Bermuda loves heat. We've got plenty of daylight. It's going to recover really quickly. So if you wanted to use, now is a good time to kind of thin things out, clean the lawn up prior to them leveling it. It would not be a bad plan. Again, I don't have pictures of it to be able to see exactly what you're talking about, but if I'm just answering the question as if you told me you had a Bermuda lawn and that's where you have the thatch problem. Okay. So hopefully that helps. You know, ask the service, whoever's coming out to do the top dressing, if they can also do that as well. I mean, assuming it's something that they offer, I imagine, not imagine, it's definitely going to be cheaper to have them do that versus you having to find somebody else to come out and dethatch the lawn. You know what I mean? So if you can kind of have it all done at once, that would be ideal. All right. So hopefully that is useful, Sandy. Take pictures of it, and when you are happy with how it looks, send them over to us. We'll show everyone on the show how your lawn came together. All right. Appreciate all the viewership. If I can help with anything else, let me know. All right. Next up is Michael Thomas. He says, "Evening, Ron. Sent you some pictures of the lawn with the dry spot." Indeed, it was a dry spot, because you guys remember last week, Michael Thomas reached out to us. We all all dug in, looked at his pictures. He's saying, "Man, I think I got a disease problem." I'm like, "Man, it looks dry to me." I think I still have the pictures from last week. Let's see if I can find them. Yes, so these are pictures from last week that he's looking at. He says, "Yeah, I think it's disease. I think it's not disease. I think it's just dry." I said, "Just do some spot watering. See if you can get the the area to come back." He started doing that, and in his email he sent to me, that he said that it's come in really well. It's looking a lot better. And you know, that's as long as he really recovered yet, he's already out putting some sand on it. So you can see this is the state of the lawn, I guess as of either today or yesterday when he started doing his top dressing work. So that's where you got how it looks now. And we got some more imagery here. So that's the dry spot now. If you look at how it was, where is it? If you look at it last week, so from that to that from spot watering, that's definitely an improvement, right? So as I told us, dude, when you're running your irrigation, get out there, spot water that area and see if it improves. And you know, from that to where is it? No, not that one. To that in a week. Oh nope, wrong one. Let me find the right picture. Yeah, from that to that in a week is a pretty big improvement. So good stuff, man. Very nice. So what this is going to mean, Michael, we'll show the folks the rest of your pictures. So again, you're doing your top dressing. There's all the sand. There's the former dry spot that's on the mend. Again, putting out more material, and then he's got like a drag that he's going to be using to move it all in. What I would tell you is this, right? Is when you get all the material out, which is, it sounds like you're on your way of doing that now, is even if you're running irrigation, still spot water that area. You know what I mean? Because it's still, I mean, it looks better, but it's still not 100% of how I'd want it to look. So, you know, whenever you're running irrigation, I would still get out just in that one area, put a little bit of extra water on it just for, you know, to help aid recovery. Because it's not 100% yet. All right. So you're on the right track. Just because you are now top dressing does not mean that we want to neglect that area. Especially you have to consider we're not even into the hottest time of the year yet. You know, we still have to really get into June, July. That's really gonna get really hot. So you want to, if you can, correct these localized dry areas as much as possible before that really hot weather hits. Okay. All right, next up is 01 Junior. He says, "Hi Ron, I'm infested with Dallisgrass. What can I do?" You have two options. Neither of them are really great, but one is, in my opinion, less bad than the other. Your option one is to dig it out, like physically remove it. Your second option, which I'm not a huge fan of, because even though most people say I'm okay with a little bit of discoloration, a little bit of injury as long as the Dallisgrass dies, they're really not okay with a little bit of, you know, injury, discoloration, even though the Dallisgrass dies. So your options are either dig it out or use a non-selective herbicide, a spot spray on it to try and knock it back. Something like glyphosate, like our one of the products that we carry. Actually, there's a blog post on this that I will link here for you. I'll put it here in the chat here, talking literally about Dallisgrass. And as far as how to fix it, again, gives you the options: physically remove it out, and then second, spot treat with Roundup. And because this product is 2-in-1, it's glyphosate is one of the active ingredients, and the other one I think is diquat, which is a defoliator, like burn the leaf of the plant. So you're going to see results pretty quickly. But again, let's take, for example, if we look at this lawn here, right? Let's say we went after this clump of Dallisgrass with Quick Pro. While, yeah, you're near and it looks like a sidewalk or something. You know, I'd say a 4 to possibly as much as a 6-inch border of grass around it is going to suffer some injury from that. You know what I mean? So just for most people, I just say physically remove it. That's going to be your best bet. You'd be surprised, even if you get out there, you know, 20, 30 minutes, you know, a few evenings a week, you can get a lot of progress done. You know what I mean? And that's going to be the least damaging way to your lawn to get rid of it. All right. So hope that helps. If you're interested, I will link this this blog post that talks about Dallisgrass in the chat. We can actually make it the horrible weeds and what to do. All right. So there you go. So this will be the pinned comment for anyone watching the show after the fact. And there you go. All right. Cool. All right. So next up is Eddie 2024. He says, "Happy Friday, Ron. Common Bermuda, Dallas, Texas. Looks like I have Bermuda mites. I see witch's broom in certain areas. It's not spread out too much. I want to contain. I have Telstar Pro, I guess P or I like Telstar's not bad, but I like the Delta Guard product for Bermuda mites. So let me share that with you. Again, a lot of folks, I've recommended that to a lot of people, and everyone has come back and said, yep, that did the trick. So if you're getting good results with what you're using, you could do that. But this is what I would go with if it were me, Eddie. say Bermuda mites, mite control. All right. So there you go. Hopefully that helps. I'm sorry you're dealing with it, but yeah, if you're already seeing signs of it, you definitely want to get ahead of it more sooner rather than later. You don't want to wait for them to really get out and do a bunch of damage, because then even if you then use an insecticide to knock them back, recovery is still going to be based on how quickly the lawn can recover from the damage they cause. It's not like you can put out a product and just instantly reverse the damage like that. So it's best prevented if you can. All right. Michael Coulthard says, super thanks. I measured 1,000 square feet and put one bag on it. We'll definitely send post pictures as it progresses. Nice. All right. Next up, we have Eddie. He says, also, should I scalp that area and bag? I mean, you can. I mean, you can, but I would really I would use the insecticide. I mean, yes, bagging clipping is not bad. Scalping it, I would use insecticide. I guess to answer your question, that is not what I would do. That's not how I would go about it. I would use an insecticide and then just continue with your regular mowing practices, and that Delta Guard should do a pretty good job cleaning them up. That is how I would go about it. All right, Tutrilla from Manila says, hey, Ron, and happy Friday, everyone. Operation Sod Relocation has commenced and is now completed. Flowers and veggies are planted, and I have pictures of before and after once I top dress this month. Very cool. Yeah, we'll look out for that, man. That will be, sounds like a good time. So you remove sod and put in a flower and vegetable garden. I see. It sounds like a good... sounds like a good plan. It sounds like a wifey project. It sounds like something that that your better half said, you know what, we need some veggies, and while your whole like grass thing is okay, it'd be nice for us to have some like ornamentals, and this is how this has come to pass. All right, Juan. So I got your pictures. They came in. Let me see if I can get them up here on the live stream. It looks cool, man. Let me see here. Full reno. You know what? And Juan, I gotta say one thing. Thank you for naming the pictures. Thank you for not just sending me like image 2017 and 43. It's like having them named like, image 1, full reno 1, 2, and 3 makes it so much easier for me to put them on here, because I don't have to go out and rename them. And this looks solid, man. Okay, so let's look at what Juan's working with. So picture 1 here, it was full reno. You gotta admit, man, that looks solid. It looks solid. You got your irrigation system going, got it all roped off. You don't trying to keep people, pets, and bystanders off of it. Color looks fabulous, man. Really, really nice. How far in? I'm not sure. I haven't got. You can say in your email. How far in is this? Like how long from the time you? I think you sent us pictures. Was it last week or the week before? I think so. Let me see if I can find. Yeah, no, I don't see them from you. I know you sent pictures not too long ago showing when it was largely bare. May have been last week, maybe not. It all runs together, and that's a really big actually, it's a really big improvement. This might be it here. Yeah, so I think this is the area which you sent. So this was glyphosate, and you said you peat moss and straw, and yeah, so this is what it looked like before, which again, not terrible, but again, you see things in it that no one else sees. And this is how it looked. The pictures you sent, I want to say this was probably a couple of weeks ago, if not last week, 2 weeks ago. And now this is what you're working with, which looks really good, man. Very nice work. Very, very nice work. Really, here's the thing. I can't wait till you put your first cut on it. Start mowing it. It looks like you're about due, man. I gotta tell you, I mean, it's coming in nicely, but you're about ready to mow that. From what I'm seeing, I mean, it looks like it's coming really thick and nice. Look at another picture here again. Yeah, dude, I would mow that. That looks good. It's ready for a mower, in my opinion. I mean, start high, but I mean, I don't think you need to wait too much longer unless you really want to. Looking solid. Great work. Great work. Nicely done. All right, next up is Hail Demon. He says, I seeded Yukon Bermuda 4 weeks ago. Seedlings are visibly growing across large patches. How long should I wait for the first mow? Also, when should I start spoon feeding? Yeah, so good question, Hail Demon. I mean, you're saying if they're just physically coming in, like there's probably not a whole lot to mow as yet. Uh, I mean, a brand new Bermuda lawn, I'd want it to get to an inch and a half before I'd consider putting a mower on it, because you want there to be enough root to where whenever you run the mower on it, you're not pulling things up, not causing not undoing some of your hard work, I'd say. So once you want to get it past an inch, inch and a half, probably better. And then the one thing piece of advice I would give you is absolutely ensure. I'm not sure what you're using to mow it. If it's a real mower, you already know this, but make sure it is razor sharp. And if you're using a rotary mower, same thing. Ensure that it's sharp. The last thing you want is to have whatever equipment you use to cut a brand new lawn tearing at it and possibly pulling at the grass. You want it to be a nice, clean and even cut. So ensure that if it's a real mower, razor sharp all the way across. If it's a rotary mower, same thing, that it's sharp, freshly sharpened blade when you go out and do your first cut on a brand new lawn. You don't want to take a chance of introducing disease, tearing at it, distressing the turf any more than need to be. And as far as when you can start spoon feeding, at the 4-week mark, I'd say once it starts, after you mow it, you can start looking into putting out liquid foliar sprays. I would avoid plant growth regulator, but as far as like a liquid fertilizer, that would be fine. That would be fine. Liquid fertilizer, that would be good. Again, stick to low rates. If you're using our products, you're going to be putting out 1/10 of a pound of nitrogen, per 1,000, which is fine. That's not going to be an issue for you. All right. All right, so we got a couple more pictures here showing weekly progress. This one is from Scott. Let's see, Scott, I think your pictures did come through. Yeah. So, yeah, I think you sent me some guidance saying that they're about to start digging up your lawn to put in. Your lawn's getting the same treatment that my lawn did as far as them, I guess putting in fiber or whatever it is that they're running. But yeah, we'll show the folks where you are now. Lawn looks a bit dry. I guess it's just probably lack of rainfall in your area. But we can show the folks what you're working with here. If it loads, loading. Yep. So you can see coming off the distribution box there, and then the marks, the spray paint marks, the spray paint marks of doom. I think it's really just where they're marking lines. But yeah, you're gonna get dug up here pretty soon, man. Overall, I gotta tell you, I mean, it looks good. The cut quality looks great. Like you can tell it's nice and even. It's just, I think some of what you're suffering with from a color standpoint is just probably lack of rainfall in your area. But the lawn overall, especially when you compare it to the lawn next to it on both sides, looks really good. So the work you're putting in looks good. Just keep it up. And again, once you get a few weeks of steady rain, it's really going to pop and take off nicely. So thank you for the update. I really appreciate it. Okay, next up we got Josh Buffalo. He says, hi Ron, my fall fungus patches are not recovering in my Zoysia. I am almost 2 weeks post sand leveling. Should I resod and see how it fills in with the incoming Georgia heat? Let's see what you're working with here, Josh. So you sent me a picture. Let's see. That yeah, that's got some. That's a bit struggle busty. So you guys see fall disease issues, and it's not coming back yet. Okay, so part of what I'm seeing here, Josh. Let me get this picture up so folks can also see what I'm working with. Part of what I'm seeing, and if you look at the areas, so yeah, you have some areas that there's definitely some damage. But the area that's closest to us, other than the sand, it looks like you're on to the left part of the picture. There's like a patio there, or maybe the house is there. So that area likely isn't getting as much sunlight as the rest of the lawn. So that's likely going to take a bit longer to recover than the rest of it. The areas that are there in the middle, like those big patches that got some damage. I would not, to answer your question, no, I really wouldn't resod. I mean, because the thing is, I have personally lived here. I've personally experienced getting sod that doesn't match the existing sod, even though it's, air quotes, the same cultivars, the same type of grass, right? So I would say that that's going to recover over time. I really wouldn't, because you look, if you look there, you can already see some green in it, right? Like I'm looking up here, I can still see, I can already see some green in the, yeah, you can see some green like going through in the middle of the, of that ring. So the things you're struggling with, a couple of things. One, you got Zoysia. So just any kind of damage is going to take a lot longer than something like Bermuda to recover from it. That's thing one. Second is it looks like the area is largely shaded. So you've got the house, but also, I can't see how tall the trees are, but it looks like you got trees all surrounding your property, which again are also going to filter sunlight. So you pair Zoysia and not as much direct sunlight as say a completely open yard, and it just means it's going to take a bit longer to recover. So personally, I wouldn't go out and get sod. I just really wouldn't do that, especially since I'm already seeing signs of it coming back. I would just say patience, man. Just patience, time. I mean, just continue mowing it. It looks like you're doing a pretty good job with that. Like the lawn looks really good. Like you're cutting it regularly. That would be my thing. Like continue feeding it, continue mowing it, continue watering it, and just give it time, knowing that one, you got Zoysia, so it's going to be slower to recover. And then also you don't have as much sunlight given just the environmental conditions like the trees and also your home that are also going to slow that down. So I don't have a better answer for you, but I'm trying to answer the question based on what I would do and what I think is really going to be the result you're going to be the most happy with the least amount of risk, going forward. So if you can go get sod, but if it doesn't match, now you've got sod in that area and you will definitely always see it. You know what I mean? Like right now, what you're looking at here, it's a temporary thing. Like that is going to recover, but you get a patch of sod in there that doesn't match your current grass, you're going to see that forever and it's not really going to go away. You know what I mean? So for me, I would just wait. I'd be patient. All right. All right, next up we have Fast Breaker says, how do I get rid of all the Kentucky bluegrass in my crabgrass lawn? It's a funny question. So you want to keep the crabgrass? I think this is someone just trolling me, but you want to get rid of you want to get rid of Kentucky bluegrass in a crabgrass lawn. I mean, I don't know, use a product that doesn't control crabgrass that will control Kentucky bluegrass. So use something like let me see. Don't use anything with quinclorac in it because that will damage the crabgrass. Use a herbicide that is that's selective. That's really designed for like warm season grass. So something like even Celsius. You don't want to use Celsius. That'll injure your crabgrass lawn. But what you could do is something like Certainty, I guess. Because Certainty is not really going to control crabgrass, and it will damage, injure. It may take a couple of rounds, but it's definitely going to do a number on your Kentucky bluegrass. So if your goal is to keep the crabgrass and get rid of the KBG, I'd say a herbicide, a selective herbicide that is typically used for warm season turf grass that is not labeled to control crabgrass, kind of like Certainty would be your best bet. I would have said Celsius, but Celsius will also control crabgrass, so you don't want to do that. So, assuming it's really a serious question, that's what I would do. Look into Certainty. Okay, next up is Sheedmatic. He says, what happened to your super chat notwithstanding? After the last sound leveling, I'm thinking about compost top dressing. Yeah, so it's just like, so monetization on my channel has been turned off for, I don't know, over a year now, Sheedmatic. So if you want to contribute to the channel, you can use the Cash App link right there. You can use that. All right, that's going to be your best bet for supporting the content. If you want to support the channel, support the show directly. I think I got a couple of pictures from you too, if it's the same person. If Sheedmatic is Rashid, I know you did some top dressing work, and we're seeing how it's recovering. I think this is your lawn. So if you want to compare now to a couple weeks ago, or actually this last week, this is what you were looking like last week. So picture 1, picture 2, right? So that's the front, and then that's the back. And then this week, we're looking like that. I mean, the angle is a little bit different, but it does look like it's filled in a bit better. And the front looks substantially better compared to last week. Yeah, to my eye, the front lawn, like this is the biggest difference. So you see that was where you were before. That's last week. That's this week. So big improvement in the last week, I would say. So especially in the front lawn. Back lawn looks like it's coming in too, but the front lawn is definitely leading the charge on the recovery from the lawn leveling work. Yep. So keep it up, man. Looks good. All right. Rainey says, Burwood really needs to be controlled from the fall with pre-emergent. This is true. Yeah. With most weeds, I mean, the one weed that I'd say that you're likely to fight in a warm season lawn, or the only weed that I ever to really contend with in my lawn is a nutsedge. And it's really only in areas like in my swill area where like all the water from the back lawn drains through to go to the street. Like it's the only area where I'll get a little bit of nutsedge here and there. Also bordering my neighbors, I'll get a little bit there, but I mean that's it. For the most part, Robert's exactly right. I mean, most of these types of weeds, if you have a good pre-emergent program, particularly a good fall pre-emergent program, because a lot of folks will do pre-emergent in the springtime because they think I need to do like a weed and feed or something to keep crabgrass out of my lawn. Like most people are pretty decent with that, but I think that fall pre-emergent is what normally goes at the wayside. And of the two, it's it's just as important. It just really is, especially if you're talking about like weeds like Poa annua. Like that's a pain to have to control, and fall pre-emergent really is the tool for keeping that or drastically reducing the amount of that you have in your lawn. So yeah, you're absolutely right, Robert. Thank you so much for chiming in. On the topic of Robert, he sent some pictures of his lawn. I think he did his first mow, or I say his first mow, but a recent mow. So this is what his lawn looks like now. If you look from last week, I think I've got a picture here. Maybe not. I thought he sent me one. Yeah, I did. Yeah, I did. Here we go. So this is what we looked like last week. So you can see he was just letting it grow in, letting the lawn come through all the sand. So there was all the sand, and that's how it had recovered. And now this week he has put a mower on it, and that's what we're dealing with now. So pretty good, pretty nice. From that, let's go here. So from that to that, who would have imagined a mower could make that much difference? And I gotta tell you, man, the double stripes. Yeah, I gotta tell you, the double Ys look really good, Robert. It looks like you reset your stripes, and they look cool. They look, it's funny to my eye. They look wider than what you were running before. Is it just me? But they do look wider than at least the ones. Oh, I don't know how to describe it. The ones running from like 7 o'clock to the run was running lengthwise, running from like say 7 o'clock to 3 o'clock. Yeah, 7 to 3. Like those look wider to me. But again, it just could be the angle. Yeah, but looks good. Looks awesome, man. It's definitely on its way to recover. And I imagine a couple of weeks is going to look even that much better. So really, really nice, nice work. Nice work. All right, Josh is coming back with his disease problem in his Zoysia. He says, "Run, my fall fungus patches are not recovering in my Xeon Zoysia. I'm almost 2 weeks." Yeah, I think it's the same question you answered. Yes, I mean, the damage doesn't look like doesn't look like spring dead spot. It could be spring dead spot. It doesn't look like spring dead spot to me. But I mean, at any rate, it's. I would still say time. Give it time. I'm really not a fan of being quick about introducing sod to patch up a lawn. Because again, if it doesn't match, you're kind of stuck with it. Okay. Next up, we got Cedric. He says also, it's so. I think, is there a first part to your question? Okay, here we go. I think this is the first part. You're still fighting POA in this cool weather as well. Have certainty in Celsius, looking to aerate and help drainage as well. Any other suggestions? Yeah, so if you're talking about Poa annua, then I would say, leave the Celsius on the shelf and just use certainty. So Celsius for certainty, you're going to want to go at the higher rate. So 2 large scoops per 1,000 square feet. So 2 large scoops with surfactant over 1,000 square feet is what you're going to want to use for Poa annua control. And you said that it's so cool there in Virginia Beach, found some mycelium, and you applied some fungicide. Okay. Sounds like a plan. But yeah, for the certainty, for the Poa annua issue, certainty is what you're going to want to use. Just Celsius, you should be wasting product. I really wouldn't put that in the tank. I would just use just certainty, again, at the higher rate, and that should do the trick for you. All right. John's Grass Hangout says, let's see here. He says, grass people, man, I missed the show. Too busy. Do you see my picture on for round 2? I'm doing another light top dressing 2,000 with one bag. Enjoying the process. Pictures coming soon. Do I have pictures from you, John? Let me see here. Oh yeah, I got. Oh man, wow, that looks really good. They came. Yeah, you sent them earlier this morning. I'm just seeing it now. Okay, so you've got. Let's see here, John G. We'll say John G for Grass Hangout 1. So this is how it looks now, and I guess not being one to leave well enough alone, I've been guilty of that. It looks like the folks at, oh, it looks really good, man. The folks at Super Sod are about to drop some more, some more of that lawn leveling goodness on your driveway where you have them put it, drop it off. So let me see here. Show the folks the other one. I've seen that truck before. I know who that is. Very cool. Very cool. So I got to tell you, as it sits now, it already looks really, 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 really good. I mean, granted, you're there, so you see things, that I'm sure the rest of us don't see. Your plan of doing one bag over 2,000 square feet, I think that's a good idea. I mean, it's going to be very light because, to be completely honest, it doesn't need a whole lot from what I'm seeing here. It looks really good. So if you just want to do a little bit of touch-up work here and there, and you want to take 1 cubic yard and stretch that over a couple thousand square feet, I think that would be just fine because the lawn's looking solid, looking mint, man. Very nice work. And John is saying, and smash the like button, people. Definitely do that, guys. If you guys are enjoying the show, or if you're not enjoying the show, so hit the like button. It costs you absolutely nothing. We've got 85 people here in the live stream, only 35 likes. We can surely do better than that. So if you guys wouldn't mind hitting the like button ever so gently, I would really, really appreciate it. All right. Juan says, hey, Ron, I just set the pictures. Perennial ryegrass only. My dream, 1 seed. I'm ready to help out anyone who wants to do a full reno. So yeah, so your lawn before was a bit of a, I wouldn't even say salad bowl, but it was a blend. It had a bunch of different types of grasses in it. I get it. It's a mixture of different types of grasses. And now you've gone to just perennial ryegrass, and it looks good. I gotta tell you, man, it looks really, really good. And perennial rye stripes like crazy. So that's looking awesome once you do decide to start cutting it. So very nice. Juan, it's coming in nicely, and I would say just start mowing it, man. It looks like you're more than ready. All right. Next up we have you said Scott, some of these I've started watering the lawn, but since True Green sprayed Monday, the started yellowing. Oh, so that's what happened. So they got you. so you were more green, and then the lawn care service came out and sprayed something, and you got yeah. Ugh. Sorry. Let's see here. We got Dan in Kansas says, can I mix up 0.2 pounds of ammonium sulfate and spray it once a week if I water it in right? I don't know. Can you? You can. I don't typically recommend using ammonium sulfate or urea as your nitrogen source. So whatever product you're using, I'd say just follow whatever guidance it has. But I don't recommend doing that. And I'm not gonna be a whole lot of help for you as far as I go. Whatever the product is, read what the guidance is, or whatever forum or group that you're on, and they're suggesting that you do that. Whoever's done that or who makes a practice out of doing that will likely be able to give you some guidance around what they find works well. Again, I don't really recommend that as a way to feed your lawn. So I'm not gonna have a ton of help on that one, unfortunately. Dan in Kansas. All right, next up is John's Grass Hangout. He says, hey, Ron, have you cut it 1/2 inch? I have. I did at one point. I was at 0.45 inches is where the bench height was set. So it's actually cutting a little bit shorter than that. He says, what say you could be some of the pitfalls of that high to cut? A lot. I love the 1/2 inch look. Really amazing. Amazing how much better than 3/4 of an inch. Definitely a goal. Why don't you cut it 1/2 inch? Okay, so a couple of reasons. As far as having like a true fairway look to where the lawn literally looks like a golf course fairway, yes, 1/2 inch does produce that. Like you take a golf ball, you throw it on it literally rolls out like like you're actually on a golf course, which is kind of cool. The negatives to it is that it takes a lot more mowing. Like your mowing frequency is going to have to go up quite a bit, especially when you get into the hotter times of the year, even if you're using growth regulator. The it's going to be super, super important that you're very diligent about keeping your mowing equipment sharp, because remember, the more you mow it, the more frequently you mow, the better the grass is going to look. And half an inch or just under half an inch is going to require that. But because you're injuring it that much more regularly with the increased mowing frequency, you're also increasing the likelihood or the potential for there to be disease issues. So keeping your equipment super sharp, really important. I wouldn't say you're at the point where you have to do fungicides even really more than the months of May and June preventatively. But the biggest reason why I don't do it is the color's not as good, the stripes are not as good. The amount of mowing, the amount of time commitment that it takes, especially when you get in the months of June and July, to me are just not worth it. So what I would say is, if you want to do half an inch, starting the beginning part of the season. So if you started, say, April and May, in those 2 months, you said you want to run the lawn really short at like half an inch, and then when you went to say June, July, bump up to 3/4 of an inch. That's a good strategy. So you get to enjoy it some, but you're not going to have all the pain in the neck and the headache parts of the really, really intense mowing that it's going to require to keep it looking really, really good. So it looks incredible. Like it is a really cool look from a standpoint of just like when you walk on it, when you it does have a different feel to it. It actually does feel like you're walking on a golf course fairway. It really is kind of cool. But it's just, I don't think the juice is worth the squeeze to try and maintain that all season long. I think, again, the months of April and May, it's kind of a cool goal, something cool to play with. But once you get into June, July, 3/4 of an inch, all those only a 1/4 of an inch more as far as height of cut, is dramatically easier to live with than a half an inch lawn. So hope that helps. Again, if you want to play with it, you still got a couple weeks in May, go for it. But once it becomes too much, just bump the height cut up. I mean, you may go from like half an inch to 5/8, and then eventually end up at 3/4 of an inch. You have to do it all in one go. But for me, the year that I did it, it just wasn't really worth the amount of work that was required. And also keep in mind too, I got a big lawn, right? Like, I was mowing, like, I got almost like 12,000 square feet. So that's a lot to keep up with when it comes to mowing really every 36 hours on during the hotter times of the year. So just became not fun. Okay, next up is Devin. He says, "What's going on, Ron? Looking forward to some good turf talk. Hopefully you're doing well, man. How's the foot? Are you on the mend? Has wifey, has she gotten more brave? She broke up the Greensmaster yet, or are we still on the push mower? Because I know you said she was getting pretty good at it. She's starting to enjoy it, and if she likes the push mower, greens mower is really that much more fun, that much better. I mean, you're a good coach. You can kind of just like, hey, this is how you do whip turns, and you can guide her. Although, I don't know, man, you might be like, the Greensmaster's my baby. I don't want her to learn on that. She's like a training wheels mower. I don't want her using my Greensmaster. But also, you work on a golf course. Anything that happens, you can get it fixed pretty easily. So there's that. Okay. Next up is Jose Castle. He says, "Good evening, Ron. No comment, just listening while spraying some Pillar SC." Very, very cool. Jose, glad to hear that you're able to listen and also take care of your lawn. Appreciate the support. All right, and then next up we have Barber Jims. He says, "I have thick Empire Zoysia. Should I bag or mulch? Located in Central Florida." Well, Jim, like most things in life, the best answer is it depends. It depends on how much time you have. It depends on, do you have a place to dispose of the clippings easily? And also depends on like just how much of a stickler are you for appearance. I'll give you the pros and cons. The pros to, let's go with mulching first. The pros to mulching is that you are literally like nutrient cycling. So you're putting fertilizer in your lawn, you go and you cut the lawn regularly, you're putting a lot of that nutrient right back into the lawn, into the soil. So you're able to get by with fertilizing the lawn less, and which is a good thing, right? Some of the negatives? Negatives to it, or the positives, I'd rather say, for bagging. So that's really the positive for mulching. The positive for mulching is nutrient cycling, so you're being more efficient with your applications, that you're not taking nutrient out of the lawn by bagging the stuff, which is a good thing. It's from a time standpoint, mulching is faster because you have to stop the mower every, I don't know, 5-6 passes and empty the bag out and get rid of the clippings. So from a time standpoint, it's faster, and from a nutrient standpoint, it's probably more efficient. The positives for bagging: if you're vain, which I've been accused of being when it comes to my lawn, the lawn does look better when the clippings are caught, when they are bagged, because you just don't, it just, the appearance is better. You don't have, even if you're cutting regularly, the small clippings, as they break down, they turn yellow, they turn brown, and the color, just isn't going to be as nice. Another negative to mulching is if you're doing that all the time, as far as the amount of grass clippings that you'll bring into the house, if you're walking into the house after you mow, there's going to be more of that versus if you are bagging everything. So yeah, I mean, it depends how much time you have. If you have the time, you have a way to easily dispose of the clippings, and you don't mind that you're going to have to, I mean, it's not like a massive difference, but you're going to have to feed the lawn a little bit more because you're taking nutrient out every time you cut it. Then bagging is just from an appearance standpoint is just way better in my opinion. But I mean, mulching, again, most people mulch their lawns, and from a standpoint of just time and nutrient efficiency is probably better. It's not probably, it is better. But again, if appearance is your thing, I mean, there's a reason why, like the greens, they don't mulch greens. They don't mulch the greens. They cut the stuff. They take the material off, and it has a really nice, tight, clean carpet like look to it. So, that's really what it comes down to. So if you got the time you have the time and you have a way to dispose of the material, then it's going to look better if you bag it. That's the long and short of it. All right. So if that helps, Barber Jim, either way can work. Either way can work well. It's not like you're committing a cardinal sin if you don't bag or mulch. And if you choose one or the other, it's just really whichever works for you. For me, I used to mulch for years, and then I got turned on to I started bagging the clippings. I was like, man, this looks really good. I can't go back to mulching. This looks definitely an appearance difference. All right. Okay, next up is Hail Demon says, mowing with a Revolution 20, it's very sharp. Cool. Yeah, so sharp mower, that's the biggest thing I tell you. Whenever you start cutting any lawn really should be with sharp equipment, but especially a new lawn, you want to make sure the equipment is nice and sharp. You don't want to be tearing at the turf or anything like that. You don't want to do anything that's going to introduce additional stress more so that already comes with mowing. All right. Okay, John says, what say you? How do you apply the micronutrient packages? I've done a soil test. I guess I'm asking, should I spray a round of micros after a couple of months to keep the numbers up? I hope that makes sense. Yeah, so good question, John. I put micronutrient out, again, in very, very small amounts. I'm talking about like trace amounts in every 2 weeks whenever I spray my growth regulator and growth regulator, biostimulants, and liquid fertilizer. So every 2 weeks when my spoon feeding concoction goes out, there's some micros in the tank as well too. So I just use that throughout the season, and the lawn looks really good. You know what I mean? So if you what you're talking about, applying now and then waiting a few months and applying again, that's not really how, at least the product that we sell is really designed to be used. At a minimum, it's designed to be used monthly, but then really, if you're doing a spoon feeding program, it can go in the tank every time because you're applying it at very low rates. You know what I mean? So it's really up to you, but every couple of weeks, like whenever you're out there spraying the lawn with everything else, you can put some micros in the tank as well. There's not going to hurt anything. Okay, next up is LJ6916 says, hello, Ron. I have several dirt spots. Can I put down topsoil and some sand? What kind of sand? What else? Thanks for your help. Why? Okay, before we get into that, what's the reasoning behind the dirt spots? Like, do you know why you have the dirt spots? Is there something like under the surface in that area that's causing grass to not grow there? I'd want to know that. To answer your question, can you go out and you put out a light top dressing with compost and some like a medium to coarse sand, like river sand or masonry sand? Yes, but if the area that you're talking about is bare and there's nothing growing there, like you going and top dressing it isn't going to magically fix that. So what I would suggest, if you don't know why that area is struggling, I would do a soil test. I would do that. The ones we offer, we have the soil test kits from My Soil. You would get one of these. I'll link it in here in the chat for you in a second. I would get a soil test, and then based on that, I would craft a nutrient program to just help improve the soil quality. Without seeing pictures of it or knowing what else could be the reasoning behind the dirt / bare spots, that's really where I would start. Once we correct the problem. And once you get grass growing in there, if you want to go out and you want to lightly top dress, that would be fine too. But I would not go out and put out, a bunch of compost or sand as a way to try and help fix a spot that's bare. Like if grass is not growing there and it's never growing there, or it's not growing there for an extended period of time, we need to figure out why that is. You know what I mean? Because sand is not gonna magically fix that. Okay, LJ. So yeah, let me set you up here. I'll send you a link to the soil test kits here in the chat. And again, if I can help with anything else, let me know. But yeah, I would not use sand as a way to try and fix whatever it is that you think it's not going to just magically fix a bare spot in your lawn. That's what I'm trying to say. Okay. All right. Next up is Lewis P86. He says, "What's up, Ron? Bermuda lawn in North Carolina. Am I just being impatient, or is this green up slow this season?" Yeah, it is slower this year. We haven't had as much rainfall as we have had or this doesn't feel like it anyway, in previous years. Like last year, we got a lot more rain. It's hard to remember what 2024 was like, but this season feels more droughty than, if that's a word, than years past. So yeah, I say just be patient. It's if you even turn your irrigation on, I would do that. But it's you're not imagining things, and that the lawns are not looking as good this season as they have in years past. I think largely due to just the lack of water, lack of rainfall. All right, Justin King's up next. Hey, Ron and fellow lawn freaks. What's going on, Justin? Hopefully you are doing well. And then PB Maffey says, "How often do you need to water after top dressing here in Georgia?" Great question. So what I recommend is this, PB. I would, like the day, say you top dress tomorrow, right? I would water every day for the first 3 days following the top dressing. So say you water, tomorrow you're going to go out there, you're going to top dress your lawn with a Thanos snap, you go, top dressing is done. So we wake up Sunday morning, our back hurts, but we look outside and there's sand everywhere and it looks good, right? As good as sand everywhere can look. So Sunday morning I would water, Monday morning I would water, Tuesday morning I would water, and then I would go back to whatever your normal irrigation program is. If you're watering every couple of weeks, then I would just go back to that. Every day, I'm going to take the leveling rake and I'm going to walk the entire lawn to try and, help the sand to settle and help expose the tips of the grass blade. That's going to help the lawn recover that much faster. But the long short of it is, I find watering every day for the first 3 days and then going back to your irrigation cycle after that works pretty well. It's a good balance as far as speeding up recovery while not wasting a bunch of water. But I've got a video, believe it or not, that answers this very question. It's the name of the video is, you would not going to believe this, is what comes after top dressing and leveling your lawn. So here is the link. I think this is it. Let me make sure it's the right video.
So you just suffered through the pain
of leveling your lawn. That's the one. That's the video. What comes after lawn leveling? All right. So there you go. So watch that. It's a short video. It's like 3 minutes long. And long short is going to tell you is water for 3 days afterwards, drag the lawn with a leveling rake. That's every day. That's going to help it recover faster. And then whenever you start mowing, raise the height of cut up so you keep your mower out of the sand. Those are the 3 tips in case you don't want to watch it, but you should watch it because a lot of work went into it. And I think it's a pretty good piece of content. All right. Hopefully that helps. All right. Let's see here. Sheetmatic says, "Is there a downside to killing all the insects in your lawn with bifenthrin? No insects play an ecological role." Yes, so that's why I don't really use bifenthrin. I like acelepryn. Where is it? I prefer acelepryn as my insecticide because it's not like dropping a nuclear bomb on your soil or on the insects. It gets rid of the like grubs, bluegrass weevils, like the insects that are prone to cause damage to munch on the root system and cause problems in our lawn. But it's as far as an insecticide that is far more gentle as far as like targeting earthworms, acelepryn is really good for that. And as far as being far less hard on pollinators, same thing for the acelepryn. So the active ingredient in acelepryn is an insecticide called chlorantraniliprole. And that's the big thing about it, right? I mean, it's a more expensive product, but it's really good from the standpoint of that it gets rid of the lawn damaging insects that we don't want, while allowing or being far less hard on earthworms and pollinators, or the bugs that we do want to keep around. All right. So, so if you're really concerned about that, I wouldn't use bifenthrin. I would use acelepryn. That would be my recommendation for you. Sheed Matic, if you're concerned about that. All right. And again, I've been using acelepryn for years. Once I learned about all the benefits of it, I have went to that, and I have not gone back. If you want to learn more about it, I'll link it here in the chat for you, right here. Acelepryn insecticide. One day, I will learn how to type and talk at the same time. One day, but not today. All right, next up is Connor Remberton. He says, hey, Ron, Bermuda in South Carolina. I just had my yard aerated, topsoil spread over, and high nitrogen fertilizer put down. Okay, sounds like you're, I guess, doing the things. I'm not sure what you mean by high nitrogen fertilizer, but I guess we'll figure it's, I guess what, something probably more than 20% nitrogen. He says, I was just told to water every day for 7 to 10 days. Anything else? What I would do is what's in that video that I just linked. I just sent the video in the chat. Connor, go watch that. It says like what comes after top dressing. I personally would not water every day for 7 to 10 days. Like 3 days is plenty in my opinion. But 3 day water every day for 3 days, and then drag the lawn every day. And then so what I say is this, right? Water every day for 3 days, and then go back to your normal watering schedule. So say for example, like I will run irrigation on my lawn on Tuesdays and Thursdays. So again, if I were to top dress tomorrow, Sunday I would water, Monday I would water, Tuesday I would water, and then I would stop. And then I would just resume my normal schedule, which has me watering. I would skip Wednesday, water Thursday, skip Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday, water Tuesday, and so on and so forth. So I found that 3 days is really all you really need to help it settle, especially if you're dragging the lawn every day. That is what I would do. But watch that video. It summarizes what I just said there. That is how I would go about it. All right. All right. And then she says, do rabbits terrorize your lawn? No, they do not. They do not. Mainly because, I think my lawn my lawn is pretty wide open. Rabbits don't like, and there's also a lot of hawks that fly around my area. So there's not a lot of cover for them. So I'm pretty sure they don't like to just be out in the open. So that's probably some of it. I imagine if I had like a lot of trees and shrubs and, places where they could kind of hide out and feel safe, maybe there'd be more rabbits. But because I don't have that, it's just a big, large, wide open area. They're pretty smart and likely to stay away from being out there too often. I mean, I see them every now and then, but it's a very uncommon sight to see rabbits on my lawn. I think largely for that reason, because it's dangerous for them. All right, Antoine Clacken is up next. He says, happy Friday, everyone. What's going on, Antoine? Hopefully you're doing all right, sir. And Muppet says, drop a like, guys and gals. Yeah, we got 94 people here in the chat. We're moving up, man. We're moving up in the world. Going up. And only 59 likes. So please, guys, don't make me beg. Don't make me beg. I ain't too proud to beg, but I'm just saying, if you guys would not mind hitting the like button, I really appreciate it. It's a free way to support the content. Free way. Devin says, I had a follow-up this week. You're still on the mend in a walking boot till at least June 11th, so I've got a ways to go. Still was able, so in a boot, you're still out there spraying the lawn, huh? Was able to spray today. Wasn't easy, but made it work. Wife is still mowing. Awesome. Very, very cool. Very cool. My man's out there in a boot spraying the lawn. You know what? Where there's a will, there's a way. Where there's a will, there's a way. Now if we can only, I'm not gonna pick on your football team right now. I mean, you're already down for the count. The last thing I'm gonna do is talk bad about Alabama. I'm not gonna do it. I'll wait till you're like 100% before I start giving you a hard time. All right. Okay. Let's see here. She says, we haven't seen any pictures of your lawn this year other than the Zoysia. I have posted a short of it. I can do another one. I've got some renovation work going on at the house this year, so that's why. I mean, I've been mowing as much, at least not the back lawn, but I can absolutely post an update for you guys if you want to see it. I can do that. All right, next up is Kyler. Kyler Walker 49. He says, trying a new and primo combo for the first time this weekend due to both common and hybrid in the lawn. Yep, that's one way that's a good way of masking the common. Do you have a sweet spot for how much time after watering / mowing? Okay, as far as when you play the growth regulator, yeah. So in between, on the days you don't mow is when I would do it. So say you're mowing every other day, you would say you mowed tomorrow, you could spray Anew and Primo on Sunday. And then if you're going to water the following day or resume your mowing Monday, then you could do that. So I would do it on a day when I do not mow. That's how I would go about it, Kyler. And I think you like the results. What I find works well is half an ounce per thousand of Anew, and then let's do 4 gallons of water. It's probably easier to do the math on this. So if you're doing 4 gallons of water covering 4,000 square feet, you would use 2 ounces of Anew EZ and half an ounce of Primo. That combination together works really well. Okay. All right. So next up is Michael Thomason. He says, Ron, now that I have put down top dressing, lawn leveling, should I go over it with a drag screen? Yes. And if so, should I drag it in both directions, north, south, and east, west? It doesn't really matter. Just drag it. Yes. I mean, it's not going to hurt anything. What you can do is this: one day, drag it east, west. Next day, drag it north, south. I don't think you need to double drag it every day, but yes, you absolutely do want to drag it afterwards. It's going to help the lawn to recover faster. That's definitely it's definitely a thing, and which is why it is step 2 or recommendation 2 in that video that I just linked in the chat. All right. Big Germ 9657 says, I did my first app of Primo at 1/4 ounce per 1,000. How many apps at this rate to move up to half an ounce per 1,000? No yellowing at 1/4 ounce every 2 weeks. What kind of grass do you have? That's a question we have to answer. I mean, you have like the Braves like logo in your avatar. So I'm kind of thinking Atlanta. So if you have a Bermuda lawn, the application, or Zoysia lawn, the application rate is 1/4 to just under 4/10 of an ounce if you're applying it once per month. If you're spraying it every couple of weeks, you're going to want to reduce that rate. You don't want to spray it. You want to spray 1/4 ounce every 2 weeks. That's going to be too much. So what I've got for you here, if you go to, this is going to help you out, Big Germ. If you go to the Golf Course Lawn Store, you go to Resources and then Knowledge Base. Under here, we have a blog post on the topic of plant, or not blog, but like a knowledge a guide on the topic of plant growth regulation. Why this is useful is if you go down to this section here, number 4, talks about how to avoid tip burn, damaging your lawn, the thing that you're really concerned about, and it talks about the strategy of like going half rate every couple of weeks. And then we supply the rates that we find works well for various different grass types. So read this, go with this is what I would say. Like this is a good base to work from. If you want to bump the rates a little bit on top of this, you can, but this is where I would start. Like this is a pretty safe way of doing it without causing damage to your lawn. So I'll link this here in the chat for you. That is what I would do, because based on what you're describing, it sounds like you're spraying at the once per month rate, and you don't want to spray the once per month rate every 2 weeks. And that's not how we use growth regulator. Like the idea is not keep increasing the rate until we see tip burn. Like that's not the goal. The goal is to not have that at all, not have that ever happen. So again, just read this blog post. That I'm going to link you directly to the section that I find valuable, and it'll provide rates and give you some guidance as far as how to use PGR and not trash your lawn while doing so. How to get good results with plant growth regulator. There you go. All right, so take a look at that. Hopefully that helps. All right. John's Grass says, I love the best. Who makes the best tool to check the height of cut on my Revolution 20? Which one do you have, since you seem to be both say mine? An AccuGauge. That's what I would go with. So if you go to Accu Products, I got it up there now. I'm not going to get it down, but an AccuGauge is what I would go with. I can show you here. Accu Products. AccuGauge. Here we go. This one. That's what you want. I'll send you the link here, John. I believe that Robert has the digital one, because Robert. But yeah, mine is the analog. The digital one is probably better, more precise anyway, because you're not kind of saying, is that like 2,000s or 3,000s? So the digital one will tell you exactly how much. So exactly where you are. So this is what you're going to want to go with. With mine, I got the grip. the gauge. I got the grip, which you don't. I mean, you don't really have to have that, but they don't show any pictures of it. That's not great. But at any rate, I got the one that has. So yeah, this is the gauge guard. I don't have the gauge guard, but I do have the handle, the grip handle, which I think is useful because otherwise it's kind of a pain to keep it on the mower without that. All right. So I'll send you a link here in the chat to this, John. This is what you're going to want to use for height of cut gauge. All right. Look no further than the AccuGauge, in my opinion. I'm sure there's other products out there. Some folks will say just get you a straight bar and a screw and a good precision ruler can be just as good. But I mean, having good tools is also nice too. So I would just get that. All right, makes it easier to get it dialed in just right. All right, next up is Jeffrey. Let me see. Jeffrey Robinson says I use some chelated iron. Have you ever used similar to this? Yeah. So for iron products, Jeffrey, what I use is I don't use a product that's strictly iron, but if you were to go to the golf course lawn store and go to this is old. If you search for micro, you will find this. This is how I put iron into my lawn. So this has got 2% iron in it, along with micronutrient, fulvic acid. This has got a bit of everything in here. This is what I use. I use a blended product instead of just a straight iron product. All right. So this is how I go about it. 6 ounces per 1,000 produces a nice pop of color. That is the way that I would go if it were me. All right. All right, Best Brown says, how to control nutsedge in a Bermuda lawn. I'm confused between Dallisgrass and nutsedge. Which one and what rate of herbicide? Yeah, so the Dallisgrass and nutsedge are completely different monsters. They look completely different. They're not even like in the same universe. If you got nutsedge, it's actually the lesser of the two evils to have to contend with because there's actually a herbicide that, for worms using grass, that works really well against it. All right, so this is... it's funny, this new blog post is coming in super handy. So if we, let me see here. So this is nutsedge, nutgrass. It's like yellow nutsedge in the picture that we used here. That is nutsedge. That is not Dallisgrass. This is nutsedge, and for this, you're going to want to use Certainty to knock it out. Sledgehammer, if you got cool season grass, Certainty is what I recommend for warm season grass. If you have Dallisgrass, it looks more like that. So you can see that looks nothing like nothing like the nutsedge. All right, so this and Dallisgrass look completely different. So for this guy, again, Certainty would be the way to go for a Bermuda lawn. Let's see here. So if you were to go, I'll show you. If you go to the golf course lawn store, go to shop, go to weed killer. What you're going to want to use is this. So Certainty herbicide takes care of all your sedges in addition to POA annua. This is what I would use. At a minimum, you're going to want to use this and surfactant for best results. If you don't have surfactant, you can get the kit, which has Certainty, surfactant, and dye. Everything you need to be able to knock that out. So for sedges, we got an option for you. For Dallisgrass, your best bet, if you read the section in that blog post, is going to be to dig it out, to just physically remove it. There's not really a selective herbicide that you're supposed to use on residential lawns that's really effective against Dallisgrass. Okay, so hopefully that helps, sir. And then again, once you get Certainty, I mean, in the description, we've got like options, recommendations for rates and that type of thing. So just take a look at that. All right, I'll link that here in the chat for you, so you can be you can get rid of nutsedge in your lawn like a boss. All right. Jose Castro says, will Advion, a fire ant bait, work on other ants besides fire ants? No, I think it's pharaoh ant and fire ant, and then the regular insecticide will work. The non-fire ant Advion insecticide will kill all the other ants. So you got two different products. For fire ants is one product, and then for the regular ants is a different product altogether. So no, it's not like one product to get rid of all ants. It is primarily fire ants and what's else on here? I think it's pharaoh ants. I want to say it's not all of them. That I do know. Yeah. So imported fire ants, big-headed ants, pavement ants, and turfgrass ants, or turfgrass ants in on lawns, recreation areas, and yada yada yada. So yeah. So this is primarily what I use. I don't use the other product because it takes care of the ants that I have in my lawn. All right. So Advion is what I would tell you to go with, Jose, in case you don't already have it. We do carry it on the Golf Course Lawn Store, and you can find it right here. All right. So hopefully that that helps. Advion Fireman. And if you look at the product description, there is a there's a video showing how I like to use the product for really good results. Okay. Hopefully that helps. To see, John says, I love that blooper video of you repairing that messed up area where the tree died on your strip. Please make more. What's up, man? You haven't done any lives. We're gonna need you to step your game up, dude. I've been so busy this year with the business that just and everything else going on like around the house that like just have not really had time for making additional content on YouTube outside of what you're seeing on the live streams. Plus the fact that the channel is not really monetized. I mean, there's a lot less incentive to do that, given that I have a pretty good library of content. You know, I mean, like I could do like another lawn leveling video, but it's not like I'm going to say, I think about it, like nothing, there's not a whole lot that's going to change if I go out and do a lawn leveling video today that I have not already said in a video from like the year before and the year before that and the year before that. So just, I guess, given the like the time commitments of the business, and again, of other stuff I've got going on right now, that I just have not been able to, I've not been carving out time to do that. So I get it. You're not the only one that's told me that you guys want to see more of the other content. It's just very, believe it or not, it's incredibly time consuming to do a good job making that content. Like for every minute that you guys see that makes it to YouTube, it's at least an hour of editing, between like filming and editing. It's at least an hour. So figure if you look at a 5-minute video, and it's more than that. Because if you look at a 5-minute video, it's really like, it's probably like 6-7 hours to do that. Like probably one of the videos I've gotten the most views on my channel, on one of the most popular videos, was probably like almost 3 days of filming, and it's the one on leveling, on like how to fix a bumpy lawn, like this video right here. Where is it? I will link it for you in the chat. 1.5 million views at this point. Wow, that's pretty good. So this video on lawn leveling, believe it or not, it took like 3 days to shoot all the different scenes in this, because the first day when I went out to go do it, like the lighting wasn't very good. It was overcast. So I'm like, okay, well, I can't do it. And I can't move the sun. So I had to wait, like took a couple days to find the day when the lighting was good to be able to shoot like the opening video scene. And then that video took, even on the day I did it, I remember that distinctly, because the camera's sitting on the sidewalk across the street. It takes a couple of takes because I hadn't leveled it just right, and it really annoys me when things aren't, when the scene is not perfectly level. So it's just, believe it or not, it's a lot more work than you realize. It's not just like shorts are easy. Like just get out there with my iPhone and just get out and just talk, and it's relatively easy. Not much editing goes into those. But some of the more long form content that's more of a production piece, it's a ton of work to do that. And especially now that like it's not like the channel's not even monetized anymore. It's just not, there's not a whole lot of incentive to do that, especially since the business is now taking a lot more of my time. You know what I mean? So just being completely upfront with you, that's the reason why you guys are not getting as much of the non-live stream content, and not as much as the non-short content, because it's a ton of work to do it, and the incentive is just not there as much compared to other things that I also have to work on. You know what I mean? So could change it, and eventually will change eventually. I mean, I'll get back to it, but just right now I've got to focus on the more important stuff. All right. Justin King says, come on, you delinquents, hit that like button. Jeez. Yeah, see, there you go, Justin. So you're right. So we are an hour and a half into the live stream. We've had like 90 something, almost 100 people in the live stream, and only 76 likes. Why is it so hard to reach over there and hit the unlike button? Some kind of interaction. It's asking too much, I guess. Too much. All right, TF Prime 84 says, hey, Ron, I'm going to be leveling my lawn soon. Do I need to put down fertilizer before I level? You can, but here's how I would do it. If you're going to level your lawn, the process I would say is you want to aerate first And if you're going to put out a fertilizer, do it after you aerate the lawn. So aerate, fertilize, and then put the sand or leveling material down afterwards. The reasoning behind it is this. If you think about fertilizer, it needs to get into the soil to work. And after you aerate, the entire soil profile is opened up really nicely, right? You removed a bunch of plugs. There's all these little holes in the lawn, all these pores all throughout the lawn. That whenever you put your fertilizer out, it's going to get into the soil that much faster versus like going out and putting out sand on the lawn and then putting fertilizer down on top of the sand. You can do it that way, but you're kind of doing things like less efficiently. So I would aerate, I would put out whatever fertilizer you plan to put out afterwards, and then I would use your top dressing or lawn leveling mix on top of that. That's the order that I would do it. And yes, a light fertilizer app is going to help speed up recovery. So I would do that. I would do that. And again, when I say light, I mean not something that's ridiculous. Like don't go out there and put out like a pound of nitrogen whenever you go do your lawn leveling. Just do, like, if you're spoon feeding, like half a pound of N is plenty. It's all you need. Just a little bit of a kicker to kind of help the lawn come through, grow through the sand a bit faster. I would not go out there and get too crazy trying to push a bunch of growth. All right. All right. Jose says, is the amount of ounces for the fogger the same as the backpack sprayer using the pest control? I think the rates are slightly different, but the fogger goes so much further, man. It goes a lot further. Like you get a lot more coverage out of, the rates might actually be the same. It might be like 8 ounces per gallon, but the fogger just goes a lot. Here we go. Yeah. So in the product description, and if you watch the video that's in here, like in the product detail, this video right here will show using the fogger and the rates that I use for that. The long and short of it is, for the fogger, yeah, so the rates are all the same, anywhere between 4 to 8 ounces per gallon of water, but the 4 to 8 ounces in a backpack sprayer in a gallon is going to cover about 1,000 square feet. With a fogger or mister, it's going to cover a lot more than that. So it's just going to go a lot further. And by the way, guys, this we got back in stock today. So if you order it, it actually will ship. Like it's been a nightmare with keeping this product in stock due to all the tick problems that we've had this year, and then the manufacturers had some trouble with making it. But that has now been solved. We literally got a ton of it in. We got plenty of it now. I say we got plenty of it now. I thought we had plenty of it at the beginning of the season, and obviously it wasn't enough. So long and short of it is, this is the pest control is now in stock. We've actually got it. So if you order it, it's going to ship like Monday, Tuesday at the absolute latest. And this is an amazing product. One for ticks, roaches, mosquitoes, no-see-ums, white flies. It's a great product for putting out, especially if you have like family, friends coming over. It's an awesome product, and now we finally have it back. So get yours while you can if you don't have it already. Okay. Hopefully that helps, Jose. 4 to 8 ounces per gallon, and with a fogger, it's going to go a lot further. Okay. All right, and for some of you guys that don't know what I'm talking about, I'll link that here in the chat there. That is the pest control product, non-toxic pest control. Okay, we have 4x4 Cummins Power. It says, what's the recommendation for the backyard? It's mainly weeds because I'm worried. I have dogs. Can I still have a summer backyard safe with dogs? Yeah, so here's the thing, guys. So I know a lot of folks are really concerned about, like, lawn care products and pets. And not saying that there can't be any kind of weird interactions, or like, your dog could be a special snowflake and can be sensitive to certain products. But in general, as a general rule, products that are labeled as safe for use on residential lawns by the EPA, like if the government has done their testing with the manufacturer and says, yeah, this can be used on residential lawns, as long as you're sticking to the label rates, there's very little chance, again, unless you've got a dog that's incredibly sensitive or whatever, that you're going to have a problem. It's highly unlikely for that to be the case. The general guidance is, if you're putting out fertilizer or herbicides, that for herbicides, if they're foliar sprays, you spray them and allow the lawn to dry before you allow people or pets back out. If you're putting out a fertilizer, you water it in. And again, same guidance, you allow the lawn to dry before you allow people or pets back out on the lawn. And if you follow that, like, again, I've not had anyone, let's say it can't happen, but I've never had anyone, or I can't think of anybody that's ever come to me, or not even from buying anything from us, but just in general, has had an issue with their dog or anything, having a problem with due to lawn care products. Again, the big thing is, if it's labeled for use on residential lawns, meaning that it's gone through all the testing that it has to happen for it to even be allowed to be used on residential lawns. And big point, and you apply it correctly, meaning you actually read the label, follow the guidance on the label, apply it per the label instructions, and then allow the lawn to dry, like keep people and pets off the lawn. If you're trying to be super, super conservative, like 24 hours, like you put something out on the lawn today, keep everyone off the lawn until the following day. And, they really should not be a problem. So to answer your question, can you have a great lawn and still help with pets? Yes. Like use an appropriate product that's safe for your grass type, that's labeled to control the weeds you're trying to control, and apply it per the label instructions. Don't think if the label says 1 ounce per 1,000, 10 ounces per 1,000 is going to be 10 times better. Don't do that. Spray it, apply it per the instructions, and then allow the product to dry before you allow people or pets. And then you should be good to go. All right. That's what I would tell you. Okay. Next up, we have Darren Proctor. He says, "Hey, Ron and everyone, I missed last Friday, but I listened to you on Sunday. Question regarding irrigation, PSI, question you had last week from Virginia. Will I replace the pump with a constant pressure system?" Oh, okay, cool. So yes, we had someone, was it the person with a well, I guess? Someone that was, they were talking about irrigating their lawn from a well. And then some of you guys are pointing out saying, hey, you may have like a pressure issue. And you're saying just be sure to just replace the well pump with a constant pressure system. That way you will always have constant pressure. And then you shouldn't have a problem running multiple irrigation heads per zone. Because even on my lawn, there's never more than 4 irrigation heads running at once. Because it's 1, 2, yeah, because for example, the front lawn is 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 in the front lawn. And then every other zone is 4. No, the swale area's got 5. 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, the swale area's got 5. So with mine, I have no issue with running up to 5 irrigation heads. But again, I've got fairly high water pressure in my area. But good call, Darren. As far as using a constant pressure a constant pressure system for the well water. It's a good call out. All right. David Bloomfield says, "Thank you, Ron, for helping me out. Appreciate all you do. Anytime, man. No worries about it. I'm happy for you." All right. Next up, we have 4x4 Cummins Power says, "The grass that is there is Bermuda, and I'm in central Arkansas, if that helps." Okay. So you have Bermuda grass, and you're trying to get rid of weeds in Bermuda grass lawn. What I would tell you is we have a herbicide kit. If you go to the golf course lawn store, go to shop, and then weed killer. If this loads, you will go here. This is what you're going to want. The Celsius Certainty Kit. This has 2 herbicides in it, surfactant and dye. And the idea is that you have a herbicide for broadleaf weeds, and you have a herbicide for sedges and some of your more grassy weeds. Between these 2 products, you get over 180 weeds controlled. And the nice thing about both Celsius and Certainty is there's not really any temperature restrictions with these products, meaning that if you spray them when it's cooler out and also in the summertime, you're far less likely to have injury to your Bermuda grass lawn versus using something like, say, 2,4-D in the middle of summer, which you will likely get some discoloration if you go and do that. So what I would tell you as far as cleaning up a salad bowl of a warm season lawn, this is what I would recommend 4x4 Cummins Power. All right. So I'll say warm season herbicide kit. All right. That's what I would go with. Okay. All right. Ken Wallace is up next. He says, "Hey, Ron, I got a little late. Just finished my 14-day foliar application. My question is, when leveling, I hear 2 thoughts. Fertilize before sand. The other is fertilize after. Thoughts. Fertilize before. Fertilize before." And I've explained this like a half a dozen times, but I'll explain it one more again. And here's why. So if we're talking about granular fertilizer, all right? I'm assuming you're talking about granular. If we're talking about granular fertilizer, even with foliar, it's still the same thing. But if you're doing a granular product, think about it. Like granular fertilizer needs to get into the soil to be able to work. You apply it, you water it in, gets in the soil, bugs break it down, convert the nitrate into a form that the plant can take it up and use it, and we get amazing color in our lawns, right? That's how it works in a nutshell. So it needs to get in the soil to work. So if you are leveling the lawn per the process that I personally find works best, which is to aerate and then level the lawn and then put the material out that you're going to use for leveling it, is when the soil profile is already opened up from aeration, you've got all these holes all throughout the soil, all throughout the lawn that are between 2 to 4 inches deep, depending on the kind of aerator you used. So it's a great time to go put out a fertilizer because that's going to get into the soil where it can begin feeding the grass and help fueling growth. So if you go do that, and then you do a nice light top dressing of 1/4 of an inch to 1/2 an inch material before that, the stuff that's going to help the grass to accelerate that growth and punch through is already in the soil. Now we do it the other way around. Let's say we go out and we'll use, do I have a picture of a lawn that's been top dressed? Let's use Robert's lawn from last, not that one, not that one. Let's use Robert's lawn from last week. All right, so let's look at this, right? So if you go out and you put fertilizer on top of that, so you go out and you put the sand out first and you put the fertilizer on top of it, can it work? Sure. But you think about it. Now the fertilizer that's got to get in the soil to really work needs to get past the sand and needs to get past the soil the grass is growing through to begin really fueling that growth. So you're just kind of working against yourself by putting out fertilizer on top of the leveling mix. If at all possible, it's better to do it before, in my opinion, for reasons that that make more sense now, right? Like stuff needs to get in the dirt, in the soil, and if we put the fertilizer out after aeration, but before putting out the leveling mix, we are closer to putting it in the soil versus if we do it after, right? So hopefully that makes sense as to why, in my opinion, it's better to do it that way. All right. Okay. Advion says, Advion is the best. I hate bugs and I've tried everything. Thanks. But yeah, Advion is a great product. For far end, can't beat it. And Aceleprint is an insecticide. I also agree. Excellent products. Justin King says, I have professionally used Advion products for years with great success. Also, I worked on many occasions with an entomologist that worked on the development team for their products. Yeah, I do tell you, like I discovered, like I've switched some things over the years, like fertilizers have been tweaked over the years. Some of the herbicide combinations I've used over the years, the type of growth regulator, the way I use growth regulators has tweaked and been adjusted over the years. Like I learned about Advion fire ant bait in 2018. And I still use that stuff. Like there's no reason to change it because it literally, my opinion, is the best. It's an awesome product. It has a decent residual, gets rid of the ants really easily. The price on it isn't terribly bad. I mean, there's a whole lot of good with it. So I'm with you, Justin. It's a great product. I have had no need to change. So yeah. Okay, let's see here. Next up is Kevin Jackson. He says, hey, Ron, what is your recommended frequency of mowing for this time of year when growth is slow but picking up? Gwinnett, Bermuda lawn. Yes, you should mow. Long and short of it is the mowing frequency is really driven by the height of cut you're trying to maintain. So if you are maintaining your lawn at 3/4 of an inch this time of year, because again, we haven't had a ton of rain, you can probably get by with mowing every 2 to 3 days. That's probably going to be just fine. We get into the hotter time of the year, like next month in July, you may have to mow as frequently as every other day. If you're maintaining the lawn at 1.5 inches, this time of year, every 3 to 4 days is probably going to be fine. When we get into the hotter time of the year, twice, every 2 days, every 3 days is probably going to be about where you're going to want to be for 1.5 inches. So the height of cut, in many ways, dictates what the mowing requirements are going to be. And then temperature accelerates that. So what I would say is if you have the time to mow your lawn at least twice a week, that's going to be good. Like that's going to look really solid if you're able to stick to that mowing schedule. And if you can keep the height of cut between say 5/8 and 3/4 of an inch, if you're real mowing, that's also going to produce a really good result with like twice a week, or maybe during the peak of the season, 3 times per week mowing. All right. So, what I tell you, Kevin, is if your equipment is sharp, you can really mow as frequently as you want. If you want to get out there and mow every other day this time of year, you can. You want to mow every day this time of year if you want to, you could. I mean, it's a bit more wear and tear on the turf and on your equipment, but if you're keeping it sharp, it's keeping it well adjusted, it's not going to really hurt anything. You know what I mean? So just the big thing is, I'd say if you are maintaining the lawn at 3/4 of an inch this time of year, twice per week is probably going to work out fine in Georgia. Once we get into June, July, you may have to increase that, especially if you're not using growth regulator to manage how quickly the lawn is growing. All right. Hopefully that helps, sir. All right. Thanks for that, Darren. I appreciate that. And then T-Bone's text says, easiest way to convert 20 yards of St. Augustine to Bermuda, uh, glyphosate and then resod. I mean, that would be what I would tell you. I mean, if your goal is just to get rid of the St. Augustine, I would say use quinchloride, but there's no reason to use a selective herbicide. Like it's a more expensive way of doing it. And so if your thing is that we're just going to renovate a bunch of lawns and we're going to get rid of the St. Augustine grass and change it over to Bermuda, just use glyphosate. It's less expensive. It's going to work faster. And then resod with Bermuda grass. And then when you have breakthrough of the St. Augustine, because it is going to break through, so you're still going to have some stragglers, that is when you could switch to a selective herbicide like Drive Accelerate to selectively control the crabgrass, to control the St. Augustine in Bermuda grass. All right. So I would, to recap again, I would use an inexpensive approach to get rid of the St. Augustine. Glyphosate is pretty inexpensive. Resod with Bermuda grass, and then when you have breakthrough, that is when you switch to the more expensive, more selective products like Drive, because the Bermuda grass will tolerate that just fine, and the St. Augustine will not. All right, that is how I would go about it. And you said you got 2,000. Okay, so it's 2,000 square feet of St. Augustine to hybrid. Okay, so here's how I would go about it. Go to the Golf Course Lawn Store, go to shop, and then go to Weed Killer. And if you scroll down, you will find a Roundup Quick Pro here at some point. Let me find it. There we go. This right here. See, not super expensive, relatively inexpensive product. This is going to come with individual packets. Each one of these packets, each packet goes in a gallon of water and will cover 1,000 square feet. So in your case, 2 gallons of water, 2,000 square feet. It's all in one. You don't need anything else with this. You don't need to add surfactant or anything like that. Just this, like 2 of these, 2 gallons of water, 2,000 square feet. And your St. Augustine will be no more. That's going to be a great way to get rid of it. Then I would scrape, lightly till, like get as much of the old dead material out of the lawn. Resod with Bermuda of your choice, Tahoma 31, Tiff Tufts, whatever you happen to go with, and you should be good to go. And then if and when you have some breakthrough, what you will then use, actually I'll link this for the chat for you real quick. So this is your let's see, glyphosate. And then when you do have breakthrough of the St. Augustine, what you're going to want to use then is a selective product like this, like Drive. Like this is a great product because Bermuda grass, no problems at all. Bermuda tolerates this. St. Augustine, not so much. So this is a way to selectively remove the St. Augustine out of your Bermuda grass. But I would not do this initially because again, it's a much more expensive way of doing it, and there's no reason to, right? Like you don't have Bermuda yet, so why use an expensive product like this to get rid of the St. Augustine grass? Like just use glyphosate. Okay. So this would be your follow-up after the fact. Okay. So hope that helps T-Bones Tech. All right. So next up we have Gary Kelly says, "Happy Friday, Ron. I finally got the still. Nice. Nice. Very nice. Very nice. Very nice." He says, "Still combi. Holy cow, the grass scissors are expensive." They are. Okay. They are expensive. They are expensive. They are very proud of their rotary scissors. I got to hand it to you. That's I agree with you on that. However, Gary, I got to tell you this. The first time you fire that bad boy up and you put it up against a fence line and you see the pristine, the gorgeous cut, you're going to think it's a real mow. You're going to think it was literally real mow. When you look at the delicateness, like the precision of the cut that's going to produce, you will forget all about the $300 or $400 you paid for that attachment. Because it is expensive. I think it's definitely more than $250 is the thing I want to pay for mine. They're pricey. It's one of the more expensive attachments, but it's worth it. It really is. It really is that good. You got the combi system. You are going to want to get that. So just brace yourself. I mean, you only got to buy it once. Buy once, cry once. You know, the only thing more expensive is a cheap tool. And the Stihl combi, the rotary scissors, they're not cheap. Like I've had mine for years and they still going strong. So don't, like I say, buy once, cry once. All right. John's Grass Hangout says, "Hey boss, my Cash App is acting funny. I got you next time. I appreciate you." No worries. No worries, John. I'll look out for it. No worries at all. I appreciate you being here. All right. Let's take our last question of the evening. This one comes from T-Bone Vlogs. He says, "My lawn is half Bermuda grass. The other half is Zoysia grass from my neighbor's side coming over the past 7 years. What should I do? Yeah, so this is a problem. If you have Bermuda and you have Zoysia invading, there's not an easy way to fix this. I'm not saying there doesn't exist, but I'm not aware of a selective herbicide that will control Zoysia, but not Bermuda grass. Like we can do it the other way around, because normally that's what most people have. Most people don't consider Zoysia to be the invading grass. Like, I mean, Zoysia invading is kind of funny to say, but most people have Zoysia and Bermuda is invading. So if you have Bermuda and you have some Zoysia coming into it, I don't know of a way to selectively remove the Zoysia without also damaging the Bermuda grass in the process. I don't know of a way to do that, unfortunately. T-Bone Vlogs. Other way, yes, I got you for that. Recognition Fusillade, good to go. But I can't, the other way, I don't know of a way to selectively remove Zoysia out of Bermuda. So sorry, I'm not more help on that one. All right, Donnell Burrell says, hey, Ron, it's been a while, but I'm back. How's the grass coming along on your front lawn? Looks awesome. I need to mow it and to cut it sometime this weekend, but it looks great. He says, can I mix both PGR brands to get a perfect mix? Yes, you can. Can you mix a new EZ and Primo? So like if your question is, can I mix this and this? Yes, you can. As a matter of fact, I recommend it. I've got a blog that talks exactly about how to mix these two to produce spectacular results. You absolutely can do that. Donnell, in case you just came back in the chat and you missed out, you're not sure where to find it, I got you. I'm gonna link it real quick here. So you go to I'll show you where I found it in case you want to do it yourself. You go to resources and then knowledge base, and then the guides. You will find this one here: how plant growth regulation can make your lawn thicker and greener. And just go right to this section here: how to avoid tip burn, because it talks all about a new EZ. Like this video talks about how to use these two together. All right, that'd be my recommendation. So you'll find it here in the chat. All right, Donnell. There you go. All right. John says, or Hoffenkamp says, you're on and all fans. Hello, quick question on PGR. Have you heard of ideal height of cut affecting the rate? Talk to a guy. He says the shorter the height of cut, the less the rate. I've never heard that before. Maybe, but no, I've not heard that, but I'm trying to think no, I've not heard of that. Hoppenkamp. Because I know folks that use growth regulator at under 1/2 inch, and you folks that use it at higher heights of cut. And I've not heard of anyone jockeying or changing the rates based on how to cut. And I could be wrong on this, but I don't ever recall reading any guidance on the label that ties the rate that you use to the height of cut. So not saying it's not possible, but I've sprayed a lot of plant growth regulator, and I don't recall ever seeing that on the label, nor have I ever heard of anyone changing rates based on height of cut. I've heard of people changing rates based on temperature and using like growing degree days to vary like their application timing. Like I've heard of that. That's definitely a thing. But as far as varying the rate based on height of cut, that I have not heard of. Not saying it's not a thing, but I've just not heard of it. And you said, I bronze my lawn at half rate, no big deal. But this topic came out of that conversation. Huh. Interesting. And he said, you're at 0.5 or 1/2 inches for now. Okay. All right. Cummins Power says, thank you, sir. I appreciate your knowledge. I'll be placing your order per your recommendations. Awesome, man. You'll like Celsius and Certainty. It's a great combination. And again, the big thing with lawn care products and like people and pets, again, not saying you can't have a dog or a person. There's some people that are really sensitive to anything. Like some people can walk out and certain plants will cause them to rash up and have a reaction. So not saying that it cannot happen, but as a general rule, if it's labeled for safe for use on residential properties, they think that, the EPA considers that, kids are going to be playing on it, rolling around on the lawn, dogs, cats, animals are going to be out there. So in general, if it's labeled for use on residential lawns, again, this is important, as long as you're applying it per the label rates, per the guidance, and you allow the product to dry. And again, if you're being super cautious, you wait 24 hours before you go back out, there's generally not a problem. Again, I can't think of a single time I've had anyone reach out to me or just even been part of a conversation where someone's had an animal or a dog that had an adverse problem from that was tied to a lawn care product. I mean, again, not saying it probably has happened. I've just never experienced or never heard of it. I don't personally know that ever happening. So not saying it can't, but it's in general, it's not. It's something that people are concerned about more than they really should be. I guess what I'm trying to say. Okay, Donald says, thanks, sir. I'll check out the blogs. Thanks, man. I appreciate it because it's a lot of work goes into that. The blogs, you guys talk about the YouTube content, but literally every week, that's our goal. We put out a new piece of content here. If you go to resources and blog, there's a new piece of content every week. Like we did Japanese stilt grass because we're getting questions about that. One person wrote me an email saying, it kind of stinks. Every year I got the same problems in my lawn. How do I have that? I said, you know what? That's a good point. Someone else has probably got that. So you got a question about like a blog post on why some lawns have the same products over and over. We are trying to build out our disease, our common lawn disease catalog. So we're doing that. So all of this takes a ton of work too. And this is why, given the choices, I got like time to put into only a few things. So this is why you see like the blogs pretty much every week there's a new piece of content that comes out that answers some particular topic, answers a detailed answer to a specific question. That's the goal. All right, T-Bone says, do you think I should be selectively heal my Bermuda? I'm not sure what you mean by that. Oh, leaving only his Zoysia. Oh, do you think you should selectively like kill off your Bermuda, leaving only his Zoysia? I mean, you could, but then you're gonna have a dead lawn. So if you get rid of your Bermuda grass, then what are you gonna have? So I guess if your question is, do you think I should get rid of Bermuda and go to Zoysia? Maybe. If you like the look of Zoysia more, then yes, you could go do that. And that would, as long as you use the same Zoysia cultivar variety that your neighbor has, then it should blend reasonably well. And this is no longer going to be a problem. But I would not get rid of your Bermuda grass unless you're going to replace it with something else, because it's going to look not great. You having a dead, it's going to look worse than it looks now. Like if right now you have some Zoysia coming into your Bermuda, and you don't like the way that looks, it will look far worse to have Zoysia coming into a dead lawn, if that makes sense. You know what I mean? So I would, if you're planning on getting rid of your lawn or getting rid of the Bermuda grass, I would plan to replace it with something else. Like, it sounds like Zoysia is probably going to be the way to go. All right. Don also says, last question. Do you still like Owlet reels, or is there latest and greatest? Yeah, so I like the, so the problem with Owlet is ever since Roland has not been the guy doing like their US work for them, as far as getting service on Owlet mowers has gotten a lot more challenging. So that's why you don't see me really recommending as much anymore, because I mean, they're a great piece of equipment, great mowers, but just getting parts or getting stuff service now is a lot more challenging than it was before. So is there a new latest and greatest? Not that I can recommend. I mean, the Revolution is still a great mower. There's other mowers that have been coming out from other manufacturers. I just don't have any direct experience with them to be able to tell you how, what I like about them, what I don't like about them. But I mean, people are always making new equipment, so I'm sure there's some great mowers that are out. I just haven't had my hands on them yet. All right. Jimmy Miller says, happy Friday, Ron. I haven't caught the live stream in a few months. Glad I made the last little bit. Have a good weekend. I appreciate that, Jimmy. Thanks so much. And then our final question of the evening comes from Mars Bees out of, I think, the great state of Tennessee. Says, hello, I got to remember to send you some pics I'm having with my turf type tall fescue. Problems with your fescue? That's not good. Yeah, I guess whenever you get a choice, you get a chance, send them in and we'll take a look, Mars, and I'll let you know what I think. And she says, Jimmy says, my wife says she missed your voice too. It reminds her Friday is time to relax. Okay, well, I guess that's good. I guess that if anything, being a signal that, a sign it's the weekend and time to unwind and get out and do something fun on the lawn or go do something with the fam is a good thing. So I'll take it. All right. Well, guys, gals, on that comment, I will cue the outro music. Well, thank you guys so much for hanging out with me a little bit tonight, talking about lawn leveling and weed problems and everything that goes into creating a lawn that your neighbors are absolutely going to envy. Really do appreciate all of you. As always, if you're looking for an amazing assortment of fertilizer, fungicide, insecticides, plant growth regulator this time of year, everything you need to create a lawn that your neighbors will absolutely envy. Allow you to set the standard for your neighborhood. Check us out at the Golf Course Lawn Store. We would really love the opportunity to be part of your lawn care journey. Next week, we'll still have the show, I think, the same time. It should be Friday night at 7 p.m. Eastern. And until then, you guys get out there, do something fun on the lawn, mow your grass, and if I can help with anything, don't hesitate to reach out. Until next week, take care.